Okay, so today we're starting looking at data and the core unit. So the core unit is all on you've done it, univariate and bivariate data. So what our aim in further is that we get given the data, we'll be asked generally either to present it or it will be presented in graphical ways to us. And what they really are looking at you to learn is how to interpret that data, or what does the data show you. Now, what you have to be careful is, in maths as a subject, we don't have to say why that is. So say, for example, I might work out the average weight of Year 7s compared to Year 12s. Year 12s have a higher average weight. That's all I have to say. I just have to say the data shows us this. I don't have to say why. I would suggest why. That's what happens in your other subjects or other things. So your other things you might say, all right, because they're older or biological, or that's all to do with someone else. So we just look at the data. So if you remember that, you don't get so worked up. You just have to say what the data tells you, and that's it. There's no opinion in it or anything. So it can help to have a bit of common sense. So when you're working out, say, the average weight over Year 7 to a Year 12, you would know, hopefully, Year 12s are higher, yeah? So there's common sense in terms of picking up your mistakes, but other than that, we just say. So we're going to get given data, and we need to know what type of data there is. So we have two, if you look down here, we've done a flow chart. So we have data, and it gets broken up into two major categories. Now we have numerical or categorical. So if we just have a look at the numerical is, as the name sort of suggests, is when we have a data that is like a number or a number as such. It's been counted is often, or measured is a good way to describe it. So for example, if I counted the number of mobile phones per house, that's a number. That's number of phones that I've counted. If I measure people's weight or height, it's a number. Now, all right, so numerical data is a number, but you have to be careful. The name might not, even though it has a numerical name, it might not actually be numerical data. And what I mean by that, if I say something like shoe size, if you had a shoe size 7, 8, 9, 10 or whatever, you're collecting data, it has a name that is a number, but that is not numerical data. That is actually a category. It's a category. But it does have, so if we go down here, we'll do the category. It does have some type of order to it. If I think about, say, shoe size, 7, 8, 9, 10, I know if I'm wearing a size 6 and someone's wearing a size 10, their foot is bigger, isn't it? I know that because there's an order in the shoe categories. All right, so that's what ordinal means, is if you've got a category but you can find an order. So when you do those surveys and you have agree, strongly agree, then you go down neither, disagree and all that, that is categorical, but it has an order, doesn't it? If someone's sitting at disagree, I know they're the opposite to, strongly agree. So there's that. Now, the other type of categorical data is nominal, and that's where you have no order whatsoever. So say, for example, if I ask what are the colours of a car, they've got no order in it. Or you might say male or female, it's a categorical, but there's no order in it. Okay, so that's ordinal, and then just to go over to do the two numericals is discrete and continuous. And probably the biggest way to distinguish is whether, if you count it, it's discrete. So if I counted how many pets everyone had, or see how it's a number, it's not an in-between number. If I measure like my height, I might be 157.5 centimetres. See how I can have an in-between sort of number that can be measured. So if you measure it, it's continuous. If you counted it, it's probably discrete. Now, in the exam, we had a few little doozies where it has caught people out, and this school's famous for the one kid who didn't get a 50 because he got this question wrong. So it was the data, it was postcode. They collected postcodes. What type of data do you think postcodes is? I'm videoing. Boys, so we'll put that one in here. So pop down postcodes. Now the other one that we can do on the next page. So as I said, so down here the examiners gave a warning. So just remember, name does not indicate whether it's numerical, categorical. Really think about what they're doing. So down here they gave an example. They recorded people's weights, but then they recorded it in a way that if you were underweight, they gave you a 1. If you were in the overweight category, you got whatever, a 3 or whatever. So even though they're getting placed in as a 1 and all that, it's still categorical. And it is an order because, underweight to overweight. So that was one. So just be really careful. Now, here was another exam question that came up that caused a little bit of grief, wasn't done well. So the variables blood pressure, low, normal, high. First of all, what do you think that is? Blood pressure? Good. It's a categorical. And it's ordinal, isn't it? Because I know low blood pressure is lower than high blood pressure. Okay, now what about the next category? We've got under 50s and over 50s. What do you reckon that one is? So I'll pop you into a category. Yes, good. This one is also ordinal. So if you're in under 50s, I know you're younger than the over 50s. It's got an order, but it's still a category. So the answer there was B.